Imagine this. The year is 1968. The Vietnam War is raging, and at a place called Lê Kỳ, a small medical post is about to become the center of a terrifying ordeal. This isn't just a story about war. It's a story about incredible bravery, the kind that shines brightest when things are at their absolute darkest. Our story revolves around First Lieutenant Sharon Lane. She was a nurse from Ohio, just 25 years old. She wasn't a soldier trained for combat. She was a healer, dedicated to saving lives. She'd been in Vietnam for only 10 weeks, working tirelessly in the 312th Evacuation Hospital. Her job was to care for the wounded, both American soldiers and Vietnamese civilians, in a ward filled with the casualties of war. A massive rocket attack began, with over a dozen 122mm rockets slamming into the compound. It was chaos. Explosions rocked the foundations, sending shrapnel flying everywhere. The very place meant for healing had become a battlefield. In the middle of this nightmare, Sharon Lane's training and her instinct to protect others took over. Her ward, Ward 4, which housed Vietnamese patients, took a direct hit. The blast was devastating, but instead of running for cover, instead of thinking of her own safety, she focused on her patients. They were terrified, injured and trapped. Eyewitnesses later described the scene. Sharon was seen moving calmly and deliberately through the smoke and debris. She was trying to get her patients to safety, shielding them with her own body, trying to move them away from the line of fire. She knew that another rocket could hit at any second, but her duty to her patients overrode any fear she might have felt. And then it happened. Another rocket struck the ward. This time, it hit with lethal precision. Shrapnel tore through the building, and tragically, First Lieutenant Sharon Lane was killed instantly. She died as she had lived in those final moments, protecting others. In the aftermath, the hospital staff were in shock. They had lost one of their own. But Sharon Lane's sacrifice was not in vain. She was the only American female service member to be killed as a direct result of enemy fire during the entire Vietnam War. Her death highlighted the immense dangers faced not just by combat soldiers, but by the medical personnel who worked tirelessly behind the front lines. Her story didn't end there. Back home, her community was heartbroken, but also incredibly proud. The hospital where she had trained named a fund in her honor. A statue was erected in her hometown of Canton, Ohio, a permanent reminder of her courage. Her name is etched on the Vietnam Veterans Memorial in Washington, D.C. on panel 23 West, line 112. Sharon Lane was posthumously awarded the Purple Heart for her wounds and the Bronze Star with a V for valor, for her heroism and her selfless service. Her citation reads, in part, that she showed complete disregard for her own safety. So why is her story so important today? Because it reminds us that heroes come in all forms. They aren't just the ones carrying rifles. They're also the ones carrying medical kits.